this is my intern project presentation. We can just go ahead and start off with the agenda. So I'll cover introduction. That's who I am. What is Niagara Notify? The project demo, the architectural diagram, the future steps for Niagara Notify, and the skill section. And then I'll open up a brief Q&A. So the who is Ebuka? So I am a computer science major at Case Western Reserve University. I have some past experience with John Deere as a cybersecurity intern and Parker Hannifin as a software engineering intern, and I'm happy to be working at Tritium this summer. And this summer, I had the privilege of working on a project called Niagara Notify. So, what is Niagara Notify? This is a progressive web application that allows users to receive critical alarm notifications. Users receive the notifications via different delivery channels like push notifications, emails, SMS, Teams, and WhatsApp. This service would also allow users to escalate the alarms if left unacknowledged. And why did we use a PWA, which is a progressive web application? Because it enables us to use the Niagara Cloud portal on our mobile devices and our desktop devices. It's also required for the push notification delivery channel to work properly, and it saves us cost and it's very easy to maintain. We were really debating between using a PWA and also using just a native application at the beginning, but we landed on this because of how easy and flexible it will be. Then now we'll move on to the demo. So we'll start off with installing the application, and you can see we just click that icon and it's going to allow us to install the Niagara Cloud Suite application. Now we have it on our device, as you can see, and we can also install it on our mobile devices by just clicking the add to home screen and it will be installed on our mobile device. Then we can go ahead and set up the push notifications and escalation service. So to do that, we just enable the notification, and what this does is that it generates a token that we can store in our backend, and this identifies each unique browser and we'll be able to send push notifications to the browser. Then we can go ahead and set up an escalation service. So we just click on that icon. As you can see, this is a new UI change, and we can just select the channel that we want to send to. So we can use push, WhatsApp, SMS, and we can also select the how long we want the delay to be. For example, this will send the push notification immediately. It will send a WhatsApp after 1 minute, and it will send an SMS after 2 minutes for this setup. So level 0 sends immediately, level 1 sends after a delay, level 2 sends after a delay. And you can configure that in future by how the user wants. Now we can go ahead and trigger alarm. So we do this by, we have two stations. One is called mic station and one is called a mod station. So now they are both at a value of 55, and when we change the values to anything less than 20, they will go to an off normal state. So we can go ahead and change it to 10 to trigger the alarm. But before we actually trigger the alarm, let's look at the time. As you can see, it's 5:41 p.m. So we should expect a push notification to be sent at this time, SMS, WhatsApp to be sent a minute after, SMS to be sent 2 minutes after. We can go ahead and save, and as you can see, the alarms are triggered. We receive a push notification as expected. We can go ahead and acknowledge our mod station. We can go ahead and acknowledge mic station, and we can see the details of our mod station, and this takes us directly to the NCS portal. So it's also an improvement on why users should switch to cloud, because you can directly go to the portal from there. And we can see that mic station is acknowledged from the push notification, and yeah, that's basically the workflow. And just for more details on how the escalation service worked. So as I said before, level 0 acknowledges automatically, level 1 delays after 1 minute, level 2 delays after 2 minutes. Because I'm not able to show my phone during the demo, I just took a screenshot of the time. So as you can see, we already saw this in action. It sent a push notification immediately. Then the WhatsApp was received after 1 minute, as you can see, and the SMS was received after 2 minutes. So the escalation service, as you can see, it's going to have a lot of use cases. Users will be able to configure it how they want, configure how they want the channels to be sent, who receives it, and what time. So it's very flexible and it will be very useful for the future. And the architectural diagram, it looks complex, but it's quite easy to follow. So we first of all start off with the installable PWA. So we just go ahead and install the app. We register the push token and the service worker, and this then stores it in our Niagara Notified database. We then go to step two, which is getting our alarms sent from Forge. This whole infrastructure here is the existing Niagara infrastructure, and this infrastructure is the new infrastructure that we built over the course of the summer, and what Niagara Notify runs on. So we then send it, and the alarm ingestion app receives the alarm, stores it in our alarms database, and we then created this service that posts the alarms from the ingestion app into our API, into our Niagara Notify engine. We then created an ingestion API to receive the alarms, and we route the alarms to the channel orchestrator. The channel orchestrator is in charge of sending the push, SMS, Teams, WhatsApp notifications. Then, if we're using push, we look up the tokens and we store them, and we look up tokens from our token DB and we retrieve them, and we send out push notifications to those tokens. Now, then the push provider, then delivers the notifications to our service workers running in the background. We can then acknowledge the alarms directly by calling a control service API. And if the alarms aren't acknowledged, we can then escalate it, which is step 10, if we want to. Then future steps for Niagara Notify is we add browser token fields to our real database because we weren't able to do that in the course of the summer. It would take a few weeks and we didn't have time to do that. So that's something we would do in production. We would migrate to Azure services because we currently use third-party services like Twilio SDK, Firebase SDK, and since Tradium uses Azure, it would be quite easy to just migrate because we already have the code infrastructure for the providers in place. We just need to get some keys and tokens to be able to use these Azure services. We then can do some AI integration for root cause analysis and spam prevention of the alarms. And finally, we can finish configuring and testing the Teams channel integration. As mentioned before, we just need the Azure resources to do that. I'm already working on that with Deepak. So some of the skills I picked up over the summer is full stack development. I learned how to do some linking of the front end, back end, and all the services involved in creating a feature. I picked up and brushed up in a lot of languages like Python, Java, TypeScript, React Native, SQL. I also dabbled in different services like Azure Services, Twilio, Firebase, SDK, Vercel, and Railway. I also got a Niagara license certification during the course of the summer. Now, this part of the presentation, which is the professional skills I picked up, is very important because I believe I um, went out of my comfort zone this summer and improved a lot of my skills like communication. I've been able to voice out my thoughts properly and be able to get feedback and talk to people about any challenges I have. I've been paying attention to details because any small thing could break could break the code or just kind of make me start again. So I got good at paying close attention to anything I was doing. I got to own my work end to end. This is something I'm grateful to Tridium for because I was able to get my project and scope it out myself with the help of my mentors. I was able to work on all the features, book meetings with people, reach out to different people in the organization to help me, and just ask my team members for help. It was just one of those things where I did and owned the work, and I was able to see it to completion, which is something I really loved. I also got to ask a lot of questions. I was pestering Redu, I was pestering John, I was pestering Norm, I was pestering everyone on my team, but it was all worth it at the end because I was able to learn a lot. I also feel like I also made some impact on the team and finished my project, and just collaboration and teamwork in general. Just reaching out to different people in the team like Vidya, Deepak, just anyone for any out of scope help I needed of my projects. It was very helpful as well. And some acknowledgements I have is to my manager Michael, my mentor Redu. Redu was very very helpful through the course of the internship. He answered every question. He sat with me bi-weekly to answer everything, and it was very very refreshing to see that someone was there to hold my hand through it. The Jinkata team, Ride, Craig, Norm, John, Harsha, and Gurinder were all very helpful as well. Others like Ahmad, Princeton, Vikram, Vidya, Nutan, and Deepak also helped me through my internship and any questions I had. So yeah, that's the end of my presentation. Thank you.